We've all heard the stories on the dive boat, right? Those quiet talks about close calls, about those moments underwater where things almost went wrong. Well, panic is a topic we've rarely been able to look at with, actual hard data. Until now. A brand new survey just dropped, and it gives us a really clear and honestly pretty startling look at this whole issue. So if you're a dive pro, listen up. What you're about to see is absolutely essential.
So before we jump into the numbers, just think about this for a second. How many divers, whether it's you, a buddy, or one of your students, how many do you think have been right on that edge? You know that feeling where control is just slipping away? The answer? A whopping 69%. Yeah, almost 7 out of every 10 divers have had that near panic moment, that feeling that they might just lose it. So let's be clear, this isn't some rare freak event. It's a fundamental part of the diving experience for a huge majority of us. Okay, so let's break that number down. To really get a handle on this, we need to build a kind of profile of a panic event. Who is it happening to? When? And where? The survey data actually gives us a surprisingly clear picture. When panic hits, it doesn't always look like what you see in the movies. The data shows 2 main reactions. There's a passive response, which is basically freezing up, and then there's an active response, that classic fight or flight. And look at this, the vast majority, over 71%, go active. They try to bolt, they try to escape. For any of us watching another diver, that visible struggle is probably the first sign we're going to see. So when is this all going down? Well, most of the time it's on a fun recreational dive. But check this out. More than a quarter of all these incidents happen during training. That's a huge number. For every instructor out there, that should really hit home. The training environment itself is a major, major stressor. Okay, this next part pretty much flips a huge misconception on its head. We tend to think of panic as a deep dive problem, right? Some tech dive gone wrong. But the data shows the complete opposite. Over half of all panic events happen in less than 60 feet of water. This is a shallow water problem, happening right where we do most of our training and certifications. And who's at risk? Well, no surprise, newer divers are the biggest group here. But look all the way to the right of that chart. Nearly 1 in 5 incidents involve divers with over 500 dives. That tells us something incredibly important. Experience does not make you immune. Being complacent can be just as deadly as being inexperienced. So what's the outcome? When divers were asked about their own experience with panic, only 3.9% said they actually needed to be rescued. Most of them felt like they got it under control themselves. Now, I want you to burn that number into your brain, 3.9%. Because when we flip the perspective here, that number is about to explode. All right, so we've seen panic from the inside, from the person going through it. Now let's look at it from the outside, through the eyes of a dive buddy or the instructor who saw it happen. This is where things get really fascinating. First off, how many of us have seen it happen to someone else? A full 67%. That's 2 out of every 3 of us on the boat who have watched another diver get into serious trouble. This isn't just someone else's problem, it's our problem too. And here it is. This is the absolute core of this whole thing. Remember that 3.9% of divers who said they needed a rescue? Well, when a buddy or an instructor sees it happen, that number skyrockets to 25.8%. Just let that sink in for a moment. The person panicking often has no clue how much danger they're actually in, but their buddy sees it clear as day. From an outside perspective, the need for a rescue is over 6 times more likely. This is a massive perception gap, and frankly, it's a really dangerous one. Okay, so this data isn't just a bunch of interesting numbers, it's a call to action. For all the dive masters, instructors, and dive pros watching, this next part is all about turning this information into a real playbook for your very next dive. So if we put all that witness data together, we get a crystal clear picture of the most likely scenario you are going to face. And it's not some crazy keck dive gone sideways. No, it's a student in less than 60 feet of water on a standard everyday recreational dive. This isn't some rare edge case. This is the environment you operate in every single day. The survey report puts it this bluntly, and it's worth hearing word for word. If you are a tech diving instructor, you have 1 chance out of 5 to have to deal with a student in panic. Are you ready? And honestly, that question isn't just for the tech instructors, is it? It's for every single one of us. Are you ready? So let's just lock in the big takeaways here. 1, panic is first and foremost a training issue. 2, Students are your most vulnerable group, period. 3. The biggest danger zone isn't deep. It's in that supposed safe zone of shallow water. 4. Trust your gut. If you witness something and it looks bad, it probably is. Your perception of danger is likely the right one. And finally, number 5. Nobody gets a free pass. Experience is not immunity.
So we'll end on this thought. This data, it isn't just something to talk about. It's something to act on. It should change how we train, how we brief, and how we look out for each other in the water. So the real question is, knowing all of this now, how are you going to change your next dive brief?